Hello and good morning. Welcome to ArtDay. Happy Easter Monday. I hope you all spent some time with your loved ones and enjoyed it. Maybe got some tiny little sweeties or other lovely treats. And, are ready to do artwork with me now. I hope you're doing some artwork or knitting, crocheting, something creative alongside, because these are, the real-time, rather long videos, so I think they're perfect for listening and watching while you do something creative your own. Maybe you're coloring. That would be awesome, because that's what I actually like to do when I watch other artists create. I like to color while doing that. Anyway, today I'm working on part 2 for the calendar. Part 1 is in the iCards up above, and I'm working on part 2 to fill these pages with paintings. And last time I did these 4, and they're in the video, like I said. They're also on the blog if you just want to see the photos and the exact numbers of materials that I used and such. And today I want to have a few more. I did get some references from Paint My Photo, which unfortunately I can only link you to but not show on camera. So I'm putting my references aside, and I will get started. By the way, if you're new to the channel and have no idea who's talking here, well, my name is Sarah and I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten. Pinselgeschichten is my artist's alias, so to say. And I'm working under that name. And I'm starting off by getting my paper divided in 4 pieces, and since I'm really bad with drawing straight lines without any help, I'm going for the help of a ruler and a rectangle. And this paper is watercolor paper by Hanemühle, and I'll show you the pad. This is what the pad, ouch, there's a lamp, looks like. So it's 300 grams, 30 by 30 centimeters. And I'm going to divide it into 4 pieces. 15. Which are 15 by 15. In the end, I'm going to chomp some corners. And, oh no, I need, hold on. There's a note that says I need 15 wide, which I did, and 13 and a half up only because the calendar doesn't support the other size. So I need 13 and a half for number 1, and then another 13 and a half. See, good thing that I remembered that there was a note there. That actually really helps me when I'm doing artwork projects that are, the big project is consists of very many little projects, so I'm always writing down notes so that I don't forget, because otherwise I'm screwed, folks. And then I can do work twice or 3 times, which I don't really like to do. I like to get it in the first go. So now I've got my painting sections divided. Yay me. And now I can start painting. So last time I focused on the color purple, because I'm working with Derwent Inktense. The pencils, I've also got the blocks sitting right next to me, but I'm working with the pencils, and then have colored pencil on top, the polychromos in this case. And it's really easy easier if I can reuse colors. It just makes it more harmonic, more pleasing to the eye. You well, recognize certain tones when you just switch or flip through a calendar and you see, oh, there's an orange, and then there's purple and blue on the next page, oh, and there's an orange coming up, and it's kind of the same orange. It just feels more harmonic. So this time around, I got a few paintings to do that have oranges and burnt siennas and yellow ochres, saffrons, all of these tones. So I'm not painting, what's it called? Month by month, but I'm trying to see which colors fit best together so that I can only have a few pencils at one time and then create 4 paintings with them. These are my swatches, and I do have the full set of the pencils, which I'm going to put next to me on a chair so that the mic isn't too disturbed when I rummage through the pencils. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to sketch out with the Inktense too. So no bother doing sketches here with, I don't know, pencils and stuff. And I just realized, is the white okay? Let me check that. I forgot to white balance you. And now the camera knows it's white. Yay, sorry, so unprofessional. Oh well, let's get started, right? So I'm having mushrooms that I want to sketch, and I need oranges and yellows, and I'm not gonna care about surroundings for now. That's what I'm gonna do with the blocks. So I need a very light yellow. I think the 210 would be perfect. 210, that would be that. And it takes the longest to actually choose the pencils, and then everything, the sketching and everything actually is really fast. So I need the 230 and the 240, 230, 240. So let's go for that. There we go. I don't know the names of the mushrooms, but well, that's what they're looking like. So I'm not gonna choose all the pencils for all the paintings right now. I'm gonna go bit by bit by bit by bit and just start sketching in my 2 little mushrooms. And all of these paintings in the calendar, they're nature-based, garden-based, so they could actually fit in a garden. And I think sometimes you do have mushrooms in a garden. Just saying. So yeah, and I really like to have this kind of mixed media, so water-soluble medium with colored pencils on top. I do even prefer more to have the really cheap supermarket colored pencils on top, but I don't know if they're light fast. I know with the polychromos that they're light fast, so I'm working with the polychromos on top instead of cheap wax-based watercolor pencils. And the polychromos are oil-based, just in case you're wondering. So I'm bringing in the darker color, the sienna gold. And we'll fill in the lower parts a bit. I'm leaving white space here that I'm only going to touch later on with the colored pencils. So I'm just putting down pigment rather loosely. I need to have enough pigment to pull from, but I also need to have space for the lighter tones, or for even letting it fade into white. So the light is here. I'm going to darken a bit more around here, but not too much. Because I can always put in the very darks with the colored pencils. So that's enough already, I think. Enough pigment to pull. And with the yellow, I'm just putting in stems. And all the leaves and moss around it I'm gonna do with the blocks later. Okay. So at this point, I'm gonna take my water tank brushes. I have a small one, I have a bigger one, and I'm just gonna liquefy the pigment. It's just as simple as that. And like that you can paint at your own speed and layer as much as you like. Inktense gives you a permanent layer of color once the color is dry. So you can layer on top, which is totally awesome. And really helps when you're a beginner, I think. So I'm just going to liquefy the pigment here, the orangey one, trying not to let it bleed too much into the yellow, and also trying to not take away from the white section in the middle, because again there some animal took a bite out of the mushroom, so well, there is a little bit of white visible that I can very lightly shade with a super light yellow with the colored pencils, or even an ivory or a cream color. Here, oh, I just realized I might want to take a bigger brush because this is a bigger head, and I'm gonna wet the white in the middle, and then I'm gonna pull in pigment. So liquefy, liquefy. This is so fast that you can have a sketch or something. You can sketch it out with the pencils and quote-unquote just liquefy your pigment with a water brush, and ta-da! You've got a very loose, very sweet little watercolor sketch with ink. The same works with other media as well, like, for example, watercolor pencils, of course, or maybe Neocolor crayons or Tombow markers. That would be pretty much the same technique there. So foreground painting 1, check. Let's see what painting 2 is. Oh yeah, I can actually just use exactly the same numbers of pencils. I just have to add a few of these tones here. Let me see which one I want to add. Well, actually I want to add the 1800 and the 1710. 1800 and 1710. 1710. There we go. I'm gonna let that dry for now. And I hope I can finish all in one sitting. If not, then I'm going to well, have the Inktense done in one sitting, in the other part the colored pencils on top in the other sitting. So, where's the, there they are. So I'm gonna go with the lightest color, and these are Chinese lanterns. So there's the stem. Oh, I actually also need a bit of an olivey, so the 1600 would be perfect, I think. Yeah, leaf green. Alrighty. So that is that. And then I can sketch in my Chinese lanterns. These are the papery things. I don't know if they look like physalis, so that would be a fruit. But I'm not 100% sure if they're supposed to be fruits or something, or if they're just looking similar or not. I have no clue. I gotta check that out. So next one is here. This one needs brown on top because they're all green. There's something here. And there's the stem going. So we give it a greenish, yellowish stem. This one is a little darker than the other. So I'm just gonna go in with that, what's it called? Sienna gold color. The next one is even darker. It goes something like this, and we get into the dry parts. So I'm bringing in the, what's it called? Baked Earth, the 1800 that I just pulled, which is even darker. Just gonna bring that in, especially here. Almost looks like strawberries, but believe me, they are not strawberries. In the back, there's another one of these lanterns, but it's way more light and yellowish. It's pretty much where the sun hits, you know? So we have a yellow one here on top. I'm gonna mix in a little bit of the orange there, just to add a little bit of an oomph. And the orange one also is behind here. There's another one that goes into the dark orange on top. And almost into the yellows on the other part. So now I need the green again, and just to separate the stems and everything. Something like this. That weans up like here or something. All right. For the rest, there's kind of blobs of the same plant in the background, but again, I'm gonna do that with the blocks. So what I'm gonna do now with a smaller brush, I'm just gonna liquefy the pigment again. And I'm having my brush at the paper towel next to me, getting rid of any pigment between all of these items, because I really want to make sure that I have just the tones that I put down on that one lantern, and not too much yellow on particularly this one here and stuff like that. So I'm cleaning up my brush in between. One there. It's just very little pigment that I put down here, but it's so intense. That's why it's called Inktense, folks. That I can actually really get a nice base layer going before I have tons and tons of layers there. And I really like to work like that, with particular media or with particular subjects like nature. People not so much, but like plants and also architecture, so buildings. I really like to work like that. People or animals, it depends. I need to have a bit more of an ink outline there, or maybe more of a cartoony feel to them. So I would add more or other media to them, to those paintings, than just Inktense and a bit of colored pencil. But for nature and buildings, for whatever reason, I really just like that combo. So there we go. Number 1. Number 2 is done. And now I can move on to number 3, where I will go more into the browns. Can you see things? Yes, you can, but I need a sip of tea. I've got Moroccan mint tea today. And now I need quite a few grays and browns. So I want the 1900. That's called Willow. And I want even a darker brown, almost a black even. Or no, let's go with the 1730, because I still need to have some space to put in colored pencil on top. You know, I cannot go too dark already. So for the background, I want these two, 2110 and 2120. They are Payne's Gray and Neutral Gray. So that's actually already partially the background that I'm going to do with the grays here, but I'm going to leave some stuff out that I can then put in with a very light wash with the blocks. So I'm starting out, so this is, do I need, no, actually I don't. So, which one is the lighter one? This one. So I'm gonna sketch my subject here, which is kind of like a waterfall, but it goes through pots, which I find, for one, really inventive. And on the other hand, I just really like that idea for a garden. Have multiple pots, like terracotta pots, stack them and angle them in a way that lets you, when you put water into them, it just flows down nicely. I like that. So now we have the water one. And there we go. Needs a bit of a frame here. And I'm just sketching for now the outlines, and then I'm gonna put in the water, and only then I'm gonna put pigment down to fill all of these pots here. Just makes it easier for me when having water flowing, because, well, water takes the color of the surroundings. It's see-through, but if I just have a layer of all brown now and then want to have a lighter layer, it might not work so good Because again, these are very intense colors. So I'm just having 1, 2, 3. There's 1, 2, 3. I'm here. Okay. Just had to see where I was on my stack of flower pots there. This one is something like this. It goes like this. And like this. So now I'm quickly gonna draw in the water. So it goes something like this. Pulls a little bit down here. And then it goes into this one. And there's a really big pool of grayish water. Yeah. So now for the browns, a bit more here, a bit more here. Light ones. So I'm just sketching in, or I'm coloring in the light side of the pots now. I'm gonna use the darker brown, the oak. Is it oak? Yeah, it's oak, for the darks. So, for example, the shadows or the parts where the pots overlap or meet, there's a dark there. So dark here. But I'm also making sure that I leave white space so that I have enough space to pull the pigment again, you know. It's really dark here. All right. Now I'm quickly gonna sketch in part of the surrounding / background. I gotta tilt a bit. I'm going in for. There's a wall behind this thing that's like all the way up, but I'm only gonna have a little wall here. I'm just sketching in or coloring in the blocks here, and I'm altering the grays, again leaving a little space in between for the other gray. This is the one, yeah. Is it the same height? Yeah, kind of going there. And now again, it's time to liquefy. It's the same thing over and over again with this calendar. Gonna do the same things. What I'm gonna start with is the water here. That's gonna be liquefied first because I wanna make sure that this does not move when I liquefy the brown around it. So I'm gonna wait a minute and move to the wall. I'm leaving a tiny little bit of space between the blocks so that I can put in some colored pencil there for the really, really darks. Alright, and now I can go to the pots and liquefy that pigment. I just make sure that I have enough liquid in my brush, but not too much. Otherwise, I might rather push the pigment away rather than sealing it down with the water on the paper. And this has to go like that. And that's the foreground. Alrighto, last one is I need dark browns, and all the rest I do have. I need almost like a black, so the 2020 should be fine. 2020, yeah, that's Indian ink. I'm definitely gonna take the oak again, maybe the 2000, which is Spark, yes. And I'm going to take the Sienna Gold and I think that's that. So there's a bare tree. This is the November painting. It's a very, there's no leaves on that tree. Like something like this. Goes up here. I think it's a, I'm not sure if it's a willow or something, the tree on the photo. But it goes something like this, and it has very, very many little twigs. And then it has something like that. Goes, there's a branch, just going in with the big branches for now, and then there's tons of twigs and stuff. Now, like when there's things going off to the side of the painting, that just means that I'm, well, depicting part of a scenery here, but not all of the scenery. And here is a yellow bush or orange. I'm just gonna have a little bit of that, a little bit of that. I know it looks horrible right now, but don't worry. Gonna put in some oak in between. Then some black ink for the very dark outlines here. And then I need some, what's it, Indian ink? No, actually don't need the Indian ink. But I need a bit of a grayish green. Let's go for a grayish green. Not really helpful, so let's go with the 16, the one that I already used. Bit of a leaves here. All right, and again, magic word, liquefy. Hope it's not too boring for you, but you know, I do like when I can have things done in batches. So, especially for projects like these, you know. So now I have to be careful a bit to get to the side. There we go. I'm going to put the bush aside or apart from the grass or the background here once I am done with that layer. And I can do that better and more controlled with color pencils. Okay, now for the tree. Almost done. Almost. Once I'm done with that layer, I'm going to give this a quick blast with my blow dryer, just to make sure that the pigment is really dry, and then I'm gonna start pulling colors for the background. So I need some moss around here and some dried leaves. I need a few greeneries around here, a few blue and a little bit of green around here, and here I need quite a bit of bluish grays actually. Because well, in November you usually have a gray sky or a grayish blue sky or sometimes a white sky if it's snowing. So let me quickly dry this. There we go. Now for the backgrounds. This looks ugly, I know. Great. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this away. It's like, yeah, maybe people should clean this. So I do have the same colors in the blocks that I do in the pencils. So I can just go with the blocks and make sure that everything is harmonic, cohesive, and everything. So let me quickly clean out the palette. Where is my... Hold on a sec. So, now that this is clean, I can go ahead and pull colors. So I need like a mossy green or something like that. So the 1320 actually looks really good to me. 1320. There we go. And I need a cold brown. So that would be 1730. And I need a little bit of a lighter green, so a 1530. 1530. Okay. So this is how I go about with the blocks. I want to keep those numbers for as long as I can, because otherwise how am I supposed to know what numbers I used and how can I write them on the block? So what I do is I put them with face down. So I'm not accidentally going to rub away the numbers. Then I'm gonna use my bigger brush here. And I'm going for the block on the back side. Pull my pigment. This can dry now. And I put in some moss. Leaving space in between for brown and also for the light green. But I'm just dabbing that on here. Same goes for the light green. Pull my pigment, put it onto my palette, and put the light green to dry. for the upper part, I'm squeezing my brush and have a bit of a thinner pigment there, so the lighter one. Now I don't mind going over the line here because I'm going to use the same kind of greens for this particular painting as well. But I need some more of the dark green. So I'm going to pull in some more. A little bit up here. And then I'm gonna pull in the brown because there's some dried leaves here. I'm quickly gonna dry my brush. And pull in the brown. Let it dry. Okay, so spot. There's a leaf here. There is a twig right there. There's more leaves down here. And now I'm going to mix it with the green and just darken up the moss a bit, you know. Be a bit more careful down here because I don't want green in this particular painting here. That is background number 1. Background number 2 is going to be this one, so I need the lighter green. Okay, I'm gonna go around here and make the leaves and stuff. They're actually really blurry in the photo, so I can, well, be a bit more open with my interpretation of the leaves. Actually, go something like this. Just one screen around it. By pulling in a bit of the brown, I can have some variation of the greens here that are around the Chinese lantern. Might be a bit fiddly here to have the foreground painted first and then try going in with the background. But since I'm not using any other pencils to sketch, that's the only way I can go. I mean, I could just sketch out the subject and then color in the background and then color in the foregrounds or the focal point, but oh well. You gotta change things up once in a while, right? Okay. Just a little bit more green. Wonderful. Now I need a yellow because there's some of those quite in the background, so I'm taking 220. Quickly gonna clean my brush. I'm going only to pick a tiny bit. I don't need to have that in my palette. There's one, there's one. Oh, there's two more there. Okay, there. And there's some up here. So these are the distant ones. And now I'm going to take the rest of the brown and really water it down a lot and make the background of the garden. Oh, more water. Less pigment. There we go. And all the rest of the details will be penciled in with colored pencils. I don't need to use my brush for that. Just need to have the basic shape. I need to have the highlights. I can always darken things up with the colored pencils, but other than using white colored pencil, it's really difficult to lighten things up, so I prefer going a bit lighter rather than too dark. And well, adjust the contrast with colored pencils. There, and a little bit in here. Ta-da! I know this is the ugly stage of the painting. I'm not worried because I've done it before and I had ugly stages before, so I'm just gonna be fine. Next up, this one here. It gets the rest of the green here for the lower parts. Again, I like to have color repetition throughout the whole project, though you just see one picture at a time because it's a calendar. But I still like to have color repetition throughout the whole project. It just is way more pleasing to the eye, folks, I can tell you that. Now, for the sky, this is in May. This photo is going to be, or this painting is going to be in May. So I can actually go for blue sky. I could, otherwise I can't read the numbers right. So I'm going for 1000, a colder blue, but I'm really gonna water it down. So 1000 is here. It's a nice blue. Quickly gonna clean a tiny bit of the palette here because it's quite greenish, and don't want to have green in the sky for one, and also I don't need green on the paintings anymore, so I can clean that up. Get a new paper towel. And I have the 1000. Just need a tiny little bit. Because see how strong that is? I don't want to have that strong of a sky, so I'm actually could squeeze in some water with my spray bottle. Makes it quicker, and I don't pump all of the water out of here. So let's see. Still a bit too blue. I need more water. Okay. There we go. And just see. This is what I like. Ta-da! Done. Easy, easy, peasy, lemon, squeezy. I'm gonna dab a tiny bit away of the blue, but not all of it, because I can use a bit of the blue in this painting as well, if I mix it with gray. So now I need a gray, gray. Payne's gray, 2110. It's a bluish gray. I'm gonna pull in the bluish gray into my palette. Okay. And I water it down right away and mix it with the blue that was still in the palette. That should give it an interesting tone. See? Ta-da. Bluish gray for a sky. And it's really watered down, so it definitely will be in the background when I start adding the colored pencil. Because, you know, when you use complementary colors, so for yellow that would be purple, or for red it would be a green, orange would be blue, they really make each other pop. So if you use them like orange in here and blue in the sky, both of them would really pop, and then both of them would move into the foreground, which I don't want. So by using the bluish gray, it still looks like a complementary color, because blue, it's very harmonic, it fits very well, but the gray tones it down enough so and gets it de-blued, that's definitely a technical term, enough so that you can have the orange here, or I can in this case have the orange here pop and move to the foreground really well, especially when I layer a bit more orange on top with my color pencils. But for now, oh, I'm really good in time. Ooh, awesome. I'm gonna dry this, and I'm surprised that I do have an hour left of recording time. Yay! So I'm gonna start colored pencils. Now for the colored pencils, let me reach. There they are. Is everything dry? Yeah, it kind of is. So, colored pencils. I don't have swatches for them because I don't need them. The color on the barrel is really, really depicting what the color pencils look like. So I'm just gonna put them around me and go in for details. And at this point, I'm not looking at my color pencils, at my reference photo anymore. So I'm just artsing now. That's also a technical term. So I'm gonna start with this one here, and I wanted to have a bit of a yellowish difference here, just to set the mushroom apart, the outside, I mean, from the inside. So the inside's gonna be a bit lighter with that. And I need a bit of a darker tone, so that would be this one here. Just to set it apart. By pulling in those details, you can really make a painting or a drawing come together and make them pop. I need a bit of a grayish tone or brownish, cold brown tone. This one would do just for the inner parts, tiny little bit. I wouldn't recommend using paint thinner on the polychromos in this case, because I don't know what that does to the Inktense pencil. And since both of them are light fast anyways, I'm just not concerned about using them in just like layering color pencil on top of color pencil on top of Inktense, and not have everything super smooth with the paint thinner there. Just intensifying color on the outlines here, so just that it really pops against the green. Shading a little bit underneath. Also on the outside of the stem. And now I can go to the other one that needs less work, I think. Just needs a bit of help here. And I do squint from time to time to see how my values are, if they're correct, because then you just really see the values there and not so much all the details that you put in, like line work and stuff. So when you squint, you just see the colors and you can say, yeah, fine, or needs a bit darker here, or it needs a little bit more here, or this and that, and you know, but don't stay cross-eyed too long. I wouldn't recommend that. There we go, and now I need a bit more on the stem here. Just to close the gaps a tiny bit. So need a little bit of shadow here, a bit of a brown, otherwise it would look weird if just one of the mushrooms had the brown and not the other one. It is the green gold. Really is a nice one for shading. So I'm going to use it on the right hand side of the mushroom a bit. On the stem of the mushroom, I mean. Just a little bit, not too much. Because I think light comes from the right, and also I can cover up that tiny little green brush thing there that got into the way. So now for the let's make the moss first. I need a bit of a warm green. I'm just going to intensify some of the outlines of the moss, just some of them, especially in the foreground, not so much in the background there. Just a little bit. Just enhances shapes and makes it a bit more cohesive, you know. There. One in front of the mushroom, I'm really gonna color in a bit heavier with the pigment of the colored pencil. Because it's pretty much the thing that is closest to you in this painting. There we go. Need a dark brown. And the leaves there. Also in front of the little mushroom, I'm gonna have quite a bit of pigment, as you can see here, with the colored pencil. Because, well, again, like this moss, the green, the brown leaves here are in front, or the leaf, better said, no, the leaves actually, one, number two. They're in front of the mushroom, so they're quite a bit closer. Go, and a little bit of the green in between things as a shadow, or a bit more color underneath here. And now for the twig here, going in with the same color as I did for the leaf. It's the same brown. But I'm being just very rough outlining here. It's almost like a dry twig. So it's rather rough and not very smooth and light and everything. So I can be rough on that, but it needs a little bit of a highlight here. Just a little bit, as does the leaf. So I'm layering a tiny bit of a lighter brown up here. Just a little bit. Now I can just check there's a bit more moss to be outlined over here. Need to clean up that edge of the mushroom, and that one too. Now I need a lighter green. Just have a little bit of highlight on some of the mossy parts. Very little only. Not too much, otherwise, well, I'm taking away the shadow and it doesn't look like October anymore. It looks like spring otherwise. And I don't want it to look like spring. Okay, I need to clean up that edge. Alright, now final thing, this one needs a few dots up here. It had dots and I actually like that. They're again a little softer the more they go down towards the stem. See, you can hardly see them anymore because I don't pencil them in. That's the trick, folks. Don't pencil it in. When it's really light, you don't want it to be visible. Just don't pencil it in. But I'm going to darken these up a bit more prominent. All right, number one, done. Number two, let's get those here. I need to put in some lines. So they do have lines. something like this. So I'm just gonna pencil the lines in, but still be really, really soft with them, or maybe this one is a bit darker. This could use a darker one. So I don't want to cover up the watercolory look, you know. So I like them that look especially on the Chinese lanterns. I really like the watercolory look there. You have to turn this because I can make those lines better if I actually pencil them in the correct direction. So I gotta turn my paper and pencil the lines in. Now I'm going to take the light brown and add just a touch of shading, just very little. This one a bit more because there it was really prominent in the photo. So I can enhance the shadow of the stem. Few more lines on this one. Now I'm going to enhance the stem here a bit. This one here doesn't need much because it was really light. It was almost see-through in the photo, so it doesn't need much, but this one here needs a bit of a line in there, so using the same pencil here for the ones that are really blurry in the background. Now I need my dark brown and enhance shading here. The stem. Really make things pop. My light green I can, let's take the dark green instead. For the foreground I'm going to add a bit of, well, an outline or detail to the leaf, because plural, Sarah, Laura. Make the lanterns be very clean and outlined. Again, that makes them pop against the background, which is still very strong. Okay, you need a bit of an outline, but just here, not all the way around. And here. Needs a bit more dark here. I just squinted and it told me that. Yeah, I think that's halfway decent. Needs a bit more of a dark brown. Tiny little bit here. And tiny little bit here. It's really those tiny little squiggles that I think makes a piece like that come alive. But now for the water pots here, I don't actually need that much. Just need a tiny bit of shadow here. I think I'm gonna leave the wall as it is because I actually really like how it turned out, so why take away from that? Shade a tiny bit here. Outline the right hand side, so this goes here, this part is here, here. And then there's that. Need a light brown, and I'm only using colors now that I already used in the other paintings up above. So I actually like that selection, and it helps me move forward. So I don't need to pull every pencil in the book or in the case to add a little bit of detail to my drawings or paintings here. So I need, however, a little bit of a blue because I still want to have tiny shimmer of the blue here in the gray. Just a little bit. I also need a dark gray, the Payne's gray, for the dark parts here. I can go in with a white gel pen in the end and add a bit of a white splashes or something if I so like. Do I like that? Maybe. But now I'm just gonna focus on the rest here. So there's the gray. Yeah, maybe it does need a bit of a white in the end. I'm just gonna add a little bit of a green shadow here behind the wall. Need to enhance the contrast here, so I'm going in for black. There we go. And now for the last one. Gonna add a bit of a clean outline here of the tree. Also of the tree whole thing. Gonna enhance the twigs. I'm using the same cold brown that I used earlier, so again, it's just a very few tones that I repeat here, but I think they make it look cohesive, and also you don't need to think too hard over, oh, which color am I gonna pull for that one and for that one. If you just look at the parts or the colors that you used already and say, is there anything in there that would work for what I want to do? And then, yeah, most of the times it's a yes, especially if you are quote-unquote just putting details on top of an already painted layer there. So there's usually, you're good with the browns, the grays, the blues, and the warm yellows. For anything in nature, it's very likely that you have color repetition in the, well, for the colors that you paint your or draw your details with. So tree doesn't need any more. Now I need a bit for the bush. I need the dark orange. To have him stand out. I hope the audio, oh, the audio is gonna be shitty. Hold on. Like this should be better. Sorry. I'm just pretty much outlining that bush here with the dark orange. I'm gonna add more to that. So, for example, there's a bit of orange, a bit more orange in here. Just enhancing the parts where the pencil, the Inktense pencil did not liquefy as well. So I'm just going over those lines and use them as a guideline for where I want to put pigment. And then I can move on to the dark brown and put that in there as well. Something like branches or twigs going on there. See, we're getting there, folks. And underneath the bush, I'm going to put dark brown very heavily, just to say, okay, there's lots of shadow. You can see really where the stem is. This is just a big old bush. Also intensifying the yellow a tiny bit on, maybe stronger yellow. By going over the whole thing. And for the grass, I'm going to just take the browns that I already had around the bush. Going in with the Payne's Gray in a second, but I just want to intensify some of the lines here at the bush with a bit of black. Just a little bit, not too much. And now for the Payne's Gray, I'm gonna have a very clean horizon line. And also take it around the leaves of the bush. All right, that's that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the paper and corner chop it, but I have to cut it on the other table because otherwise I have wonky lines, as this table does not really support me cutting with pressure. But I'm gonna take my cutting tool and I'm gonna get started. But I need to loosen the paper, of course. So I like to do that with a palette knife. Where's the one edge that is loose? Yeah, there we go. There's one. And just go on here. Go down here. And go on there. Ta-da! There we go. Camera has something to focus at while I am cutting. And I'm just cutting the straight lines that I penciled in at the beginning. Just gotta make sure that everything is straight. Number one. Number two. number 3, and number 4. That, and now I can use my corner jumper or corner punch, whatever you want to call it, and punch the edges, which I think is very helpful to make these paintings look nice on the calendar. That was painting number 1. Number 2. And the next one. Oh, come on. One more, and then I'm done for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed watching along. Hope it wasn't boring. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, or any other comments. They're highly welcome, so I'd love to hear from you. I would be interested also in hearing what you're working at, if you are working on something while you're watching this video. So I'm just curious what you're doing, and I will see you next week. I think I will either do the random act of kindness for April, or I will continue on this calendar, because I think it's just cooler to get the project done instead of, well, doing it once a quarter, and then people don't remember what happened there beforehand. So it's either random act of kindness or this one. This project that I'm going to continue. So I hope you enjoyed. Take good care, have a wonderful day, do some lovely things, and I really hope you had some time to do artwork alongside this video, because that would be awesome. And do other good YouTube stuff, like, share, subscribe as per usual. Take good care, and have a wonderful week. I'm gonna see you next Monday, folks. Bye!